a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers. It is Friday, 27th March 2026. Welcome back to another episode of Tobago Updates Morning Show. I am your host, Renessa Ortiz. It is Friday, as I mentioned earlier. It is the end of the week, and we're getting closer to that Easter holiday. But before that Easter holiday, we have a holiday on Monday. I know we are all very excited, all public servants. We have that long weekend ahead. I hope that we use it productively and that we get some time to rest and reflect with family as well in between. So viewers joining us regionally and internationally, welcome. And those of you who are joining us on YouTube, Facebook, AMPLIA, Flow, Digicel, welcome yet again, and for making Tobago Updates your #1 station. Before we get any further into the programming this morning, we head on over to news in 90 seconds. Your news in 90 seconds starts now for Friday, March 27th, 2026. It is a defining day for the THA's push for greater power. Chief Secretary Fali Augustine meets with Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar this afternoon to discuss Tobago's seat on the National Security Council. This follows a morning session with Planning Minister Kennedy Swarat Singh regarding the transition of town and country planning to the island. The Chief Secretary has issued a firm May 2026 ultimatum to the central government, stating that measurable steps toward the autonomy must be taken now. Tragedy struck Patience Hill last night. Police have initially identified the victim of a fatal shooting as Kurt Bovell. Officers spent the late hours of Thursday documenting the scene and recovering evidence as the hunt for the shooter continues. This latest act of violence has left the community in shock. We extend our deepest condolences to the Bovell family as investigations remain ongoing. In Brighton news, 39 members of Tobago's 2026 Carifta Athletic contingent will each receive a $3,000 grant. They join a 79-member national squad departing next Thursday for the games in Grenada. And finally, a massive happy birthday to Miss Olive Williams. The THA has officially recognized her as Tobago's oldest resident at 103. She celebrated her 103rd birthday recently, standing as the island's most senior centenarian and a true treasure of our heritage. That was your news in 90 seconds. Tune in again at 6:30 p.m. for our full newscast. We're seeing some uptick of violence on the island of Tobago. We are hoping that the police officers get the relevant information and sort out this investigation soon. And we're also seeing some good news in terms of our Tobago Carifta contingent. We have 39 members who will be a part of a 79-member national squad departing next Thursday, and they're all each to receive a $3,000 grant. A great initiative. I hope that helps them in their travel arrangements and any other issues that may come up along before they head off to the games on Thursday next week. Now we're heading on to the celebratory segment of our program this morning. We're on to our birthday shout-outs. We have 2 birthdays this morning. First up, we have Carl Bruce. Good morning and happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family. Wishing you a bright day ahead, a safe day ahead, and that you take this time to reflect upon your life thus far and what you want going forward in this new year. Last but certainly not least, we have Dave Elliott. Happy birthday to you. We hope you have a bright day, a day that is bright just as the smile we're seeing on the screen here this morning. We hope that you spend it with those who love, cherish and appreciate you, and wishing you all God's richest blessings upon your life going forward in this new year. And that's it for our birthday shout-outs this morning. If you did not make it on our lineup this morning, I want to say happy birthday to you, and make sure next time that you send your information to Tobago Update so that we can celebrate here with you on our morning show. We're going to head straight into the rundown for this morning. I'm going to tell you about what we have upcoming in the program. First up, we have Tentic. That's international Jamaican dancehall artist. And we're talking about filming a music video right here on the island of Tobago. And after that, we're going to be joined by Marcus Daniel, and he's going to be taking up the rest of the morning, and he's going to be interviewing Kerry Celestine, coach, and we're talking about the Elite Eagles basketball camp. And right after that, we're going to be speaking to Soren Bishop, he's the coach, and we're speaking about the Carifta Games. Now, viewers, want you to stay tuned and remember to stay locked in here. But remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Critical and crucial is Friday night blazing the parts usual. And on this Easter weekend, I'm going to be there for Arise at our beautiful twin Isle of Tobago. So looking forward to seeing you there. And remember, I fed up by the captivity, fed up by the lockdown. I find it's time to lose me. The imprisonment got to stop now. Critical and crucial, see you there.
Arise! We get ready as the Conby Mount Pleasant Community Council brings to you their Easter Sport and Family Day. On Monday, 6th April, Easter Monday, we transform the Mount Pleasant recreational grounds. We kick off with track and field events, novelty races, Easter bonnet competition, the Greasy Pole Challenge, and the highly anticipated William Woods Premier Goat Racing Classic. Huge prizes to be won, and we can't forget the Kids Corner with rides and bouncy castles. At 7 p.m., it's an after party and a stage show by popular artists and DJs. Grounds tickets cost $60 for adults and $30 for kids 5 to 12 years. Pavilion tickets cost $100 and children under 5 years are free. So register early for races. Check out Conby Mount Pleasant Community Council on Facebook. 474-4661. 474-4661 for more details. Live performance by the 2026 National Calypso Monarch Queen, Terry Lyons.
I need a blessing. Tobago need a blessing. Tobago need a blessing.
John's Bar on the Boulevard presents the Tobago Vibes Festival. 1 weekend, 4 free events. That's right, 4 nights of freeness at John's Bar. Thursday, April 2nd, we start off with the Conscious Vibes at I Love Reggae, featuring international reggae superstar Ross Shiloh.
On to Zion we go, and I can't move slow, no.
Shiloh.
Are you satisfied? Wipe the tears from your eyes.
Also featuring TNT's very own Kevin Carter and Garden Knight, alongside your favorite reggae-matic DJs. Easter weekend on the Esplanade. It's the safe and secure, admission-free, first annual Tobago Vibes Festival. See social media for details. Keywords Tobago Vibes Festival. I Love Reggae. Powered by John's Bar on the Boulevard.
People, the 4th and 5th of April, it's all about Arise. Tobago, we coming. Well, let's see the video of jumping out of planes for this one. Parachuting down to the Scarborough Amphitheater. Yes, this is the place to be. Along with other friends and them, and even the ones from Tobago too. Big up all yourself. We're going to have a great time in Jesus' name. Arise!
Arise! Blissful melodies come from heaven, so his praise are given to the King that given it.
Trinidad, Tobago and abroad, your chance to drive away in a brand new SUV is still on. The BHS Centennial Raffle has been extended to Thursday 30th April 2026. And that's not all. Prizes include travel for 2 to Miami and Curacao, Tobago staycation, iPhones, computers, smart TVs and more. Tickets still only $100. Get yours at selected outlets or at islandetickets.com. Details at bishopstobago100.com/raffle.
Hop, hop, hip hooray, Easter money's on its way. Some bunny's getting a great rate today. Looking for a rate that's bright and sunny? Hop on down for some Easter money. 1% interest through and through. Because we see you at BCU. Apply for a 1% Easter loan and let's hatch something great together. Hop, hop, hip hooray. Easter money's on its way.
I think part of the problem we have, and this is not unique to cardiology, but this concept of checkup is going for review. So for example, women are probably better at, they have the mammogram, they have the pap smear, an older patient may have a schedule with a healthcare clinic. So a lot of people in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s don't think of our healthcare as being part of a proactive thing. So they're waiting for something to happen, then go to the doctor.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Baby, when you whine on me,
Somebody get the phone, go, telephone.
I get wet. I get wet. I get wet. I'm looking all through the party. I hope I find you there.
Coming up, another show-stopping performance from the Republic Bank Exodus Steel Orchestra as Antigua and Barbuda got ready for its own fiesta of color and energy. New ideas for Tobago tourism delivered at the Youth Congress. This highly rated property fits in perfectly with the vacation offerings of St. Kitts and Nevis, where the future of travel was laid out. It's all next on this station.
TL Promotion presents Laugh and Live this Good Friday, 7 p.m. It's non-stop laughter at Bertrude Legacy Park, Lowlands. Special guest from Jamaica, Mr. Funny himself, Owen Blacker Ellis. From Trinidad, Rising Comics, Alan the Entertainer, and Son. And from Tobago, amateur comic, Bishop Terence Baines. Listen, this is a laughing matter. Get your tickets now at Den's Electronics, 2nd floor, Port Mall, Scarborough. An Island e-tickets or call 685-1988. At the door, you will pay more. It's gonna be a family affair. Laughter is good for the soul, whether you're young or you're old. So get your tickets now. You can't afford to miss it. Add some laughter to your Easter.
Who said the elderly can't have fun too? We're talking good food, proper music, lots of games, and a day at the beach they will never forget. From the time we left the compound at Heavenly Care Home for the Elderly, the vibe was already established. Wheels up and seatbelts on. Watch now, when we touched down in Pigeon Point, everybody was ready for excitement. But before anything could take place, we had to secure bellies. You ever play bingo by the beachside? Well, that was the first activity on the roster, and boy did these seniors have fun. However, others wanted something more physical, so we brought out the ring toss, and not even arthritis could have stopped them. Well, I was blown away at how straight these people were. Are you sure this is a home for the elderly? Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday, but nothing beats the song of Good Steel Pan by the shores while we take a dip in Tobago's finest water. Wait, more food again? This is my type of event. The energy was amazing and nothing short of a blessing. Pick up Heavenly Care Home for the Elderly, because joy doesn't retire, laughter doesn't age, and memories like these last forever.
To a stranger.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, Tobago, and welcome back to Tobago Updates. This morning, while we wait for our guests, it actually gives us a moment to look at some of the key developments happening right now, because there's been quite a lot that has been unfolding in the face. But let's start with one of the biggest national conversations right now as it relates to crime. Just earlier this month, Trinidad and Tobago moved into a state of emergency due to the rising violent crime, and that has now been extended. Now, there is public concern about safety, impact on daily life, business, travel, and nightlife. But what this really raises is the question, are these measures enough? Or are people looking for more long-term solutions? And even here in Tobago, while we're often seen as quieter, there's still that wider national impact that people are paying attention to. Now, what's interesting is that while a state of emergency can provide that short-term control, increased police presence, curfews, detentions, it also raises more important questions, because crime is really about just enforcement. It's tied to deeper social factors, unemployment, community breakdown, access to opportunities, even generational cycles. And as we're talking about generational cycles, that poses the questions of poverty and how we have a lot of young people living in those situations and those circumstances, certain areas that we pose and put to the public that these are the areas that are most affected. But how do we get out of that? We're talking about government institutions providing more programs, but there are programs in place. So how do we get our young people more involved and more actively engaged, that they step away from that life of crime that we're trying to deter them from? And for Tobago, even though the crime differ, the national environment still affects us, whether through perception, tourism, or even how safe people feel moving between the islands. So the conversation now is shifting from what are we doing immediately to what are we doing sustainably. So there's something for us to ponder on here in the island of Trinidad and Tobago. Now we're bringing it a bit closer to home, the issue of procurement and the involvement of our Tobago contractors. There have been growing concerns that local contractors are not being fully included in major developments, and we saw that interview yesterday morning. We had some of our interim members here on the show talking about Tobago contractors are fully equipped to deal with some of the contracts that would be awarded, but they aren't given that fair opportunity. There have been growing concerns, and the procurement, for those who may not be familiar, is essentially the process through which contracts are awarded for public projects. Now, the concern being raised is whether these contracts are being structured in a way that allows all local contractors to participate meaningfully. Are contracts too large for local firms? Are there enough opportunities for subcontracting? Is there a quota or system to ensure local involvement? Because when local contractors are involved, the benefits multiply, jobs are created locally, money circulates within the island, and skills are developed. And we're always talking about developing the skill sets of our young people, of our human resource here on the island of Tobago. And that poses a serious question when we don't have these opportunities and our contractors are calling out for more to happen, for the human capital here to be developed. But when those opportunities go externally, a significant portion of that economic value leaves Tobago. So this is not just a business issue, it's an economic sustainability issue for the island, and we're hoping that GCAT gets that rectification that they're looking for, that the Tobago House of Assembly works with them, and that we can all come to a reasonable understanding going forward as it relates to the contractors here on the island of Tobago. And while we're talking about contracts, we're talking about housing and accessibility next. Now, alongside development, we're also seeing conversations around housing with plans for new housing units. And on the surface, that sounds like progress because housing is a real need, especially for our young professionals and growing families. We have a lot of people who is they want to move from renting to home ownership. I know that's sometimes a big deal, but it also comes with great responsibilities and qualifications and requirements that we often don't have at hand. But now we're seeing that this is happening here in this space, and we're hoping that those persons who really need it get the opportunity to have that opportunity to own their own property. But the real question becomes accessibility. Who qualifies? Are the prices aligned with actual incomes? I know that is one of the biggest factors right now. You have an income, but you aren't able to qualify for a mortgage, and that sets you back a lot. And are these homes truly affordable or just available? Because many people today are finding themselves in a position where they're working but still unable to access home ownership. So development must not only increase supply, it must also increase access to the individuals living and working here on the island of Tobago, and by extension Trinidad. Now we're going to go into the cost of living and economic pressure, because we're just speaking about our incomes not matching to us being able to own our homes for growing families and young professionals who really want to have something, an asset added to their name, and this directly ties into another major issue, or cost of living across Trinidad and Tobago. People are feeling the pressure, whether it's groceries, transportation, utilities, or even construction materials, and that has been an issue over the past few years. And what's happening is, while incomes remain relatively fixed, I know our public servants had a 10% increase, but expenses continue to fluctuate and in many cases increase. This affects families managing households, young professionals trying to build independently, small business owners managing operational costs, and we know that's one of the biggest things. We always try to keep costs down, especially as small business owners, but sometimes doing that, it keeps us operating at a loss, and we really can't afford to, because we also have families. They also have families that they have to feed. They also have equipment they may want to purchase, and operating at such a low cost just to keep things afloat sometimes is a bit strenuous. But even in construction, something as basic as building a home costs are shifting, making it harder for people to plan long term. So the conversation is no longer just about earning. As I said before, it's about sustainability. But viewers, before we head any further into the program, we're going to head to a short break and we'll be right back.
Tobago, it's Carnival. The Vibe, the event space formerly known as Shade, for the court Tobago, says, let's celebrate Carnival. Bring your coolers every Friday and Saturday, starting from Friday the 30th of January till Carnival week, and pay $50 at the door with your cooler all night. No ice, no chaser allowed. Top DJ and artists passing through every Friday and Saturday. To pre-book your cabanas, call 369-6414 and 394-3612 or email iwamg@gmail.com. And this promotion is going on until Easter. Gates open at 9 p.m. It's rum, it's bacchanal. Bring your coolers and come.
Been down this road before. All that left is rum and bacchanal. This is Carnival.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. Rooted in connection, driven by community. It's who we are at the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
What's up, it's your brother Nathaniel here. Listen, this Easter weekend 2026. Arise, the concert, Tobago Amphitheater will never be the same. I'm looking forward to fellowshipping with you guys in praise and worship. And I know a couple of my brothers will be there as well. Big up, blessed, Bijon, Fire Night. Arise, we going down in the war room. We going down in the war room.
Arise!
Hop, hop, hip hooray, Easter money's on its way. Some bunny's getting a great rate today. Looking for a rate that's bright and sunny? Hop on down for some Easter money. 1% interest through and through, because we see you at BCU. Apply for a 1% Easter loan and let's hatch something great together. Hop, hop, hip hooray, Easter money's on its way.
We get ready as the Conby Mount Pleasant Community Council brings to you the Easter Sport and Family Day. On Monday, 6th April, Easter Monday, we transform the Mount Pleasant recreational grounds. We kick off with track and field events, novelty races, Easter bonnet competition, the Greasy Pole Challenge, and the highly anticipated William Woods Premier Goat Racing Classic. Huge prizes to be won, and we can't forget the Kids Corner with rides and bouncy castles. At 7 p.m., it's an after party and a stage show by popular artists and DJs. Grounds tickets cost $60 for adults and $30 for kids 5 to 12 years. Pavilion tickets cost $100 and children under 5 years are free. So register early for races. Check out Cornby Mount Pleasant Community Council on Facebook. 474-4661. 474-4661 for more details. Live performance by the 2026 National Calypso Monarch Queen, Terry Lyons.
Need a blessing. Tobago need a blessing. Tobago need a blessing.
TL Promotion presents Laugh and Live this Good Friday, 7 p.m. It's non-stop laughter at Birchwood Legacy Park, Lowland. Special guest from Jamaica, Mr. Funny himself, Owen Blacker Ellis. From Trinidad, Rising Comics, Alan the Entertainer, and Son. And from Tobago, amateur comic, Bishop Terence Baines. Listen, this is a laughing matter. Get your tickets now at Den's Electronics, 2nd floor, Port Mall, Scarborough. And Island e-tickets or call 685-1988. At the door, you will pay more. It's gonna be a family affair. Laughter is good for the soul, whether you're young or you're old. So get your tickets now. You can't afford to miss it. Add some laughter to your Easter.
I think part of the problem we have, and this is not unique to cardiology, but this concept of checkup is going for review. So for example, women are probably better at, they have the mammogram, they have the pap smear, an older patient may have a schedule with a healthcare clinic. So a lot of people in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s don't think of our healthcare as being part of a proactive thing. So they're waiting for something to happen, then go to the doctor.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Baby, when you whine on me.
Somebody gets a phone call on the telephone.
I get wet. I get wet. I get wet. I'm looking all through the party. I hope I find you there.
In a world where our health defines our future and the Caribbean stands on the front lines of climate change, rising NCDs and global challenges, knowledge becomes our greatest defense. Caribbean Medical TV is your guide on the journey to wellness and insight, featuring our region's own doctors, nurses, climate specialists and medical institutions. From physical well-being to the emotional and mental balance we all deserve. Caribbean Medical TV empowers you because building a healthier future isn't just a regional goal, it's a global responsibility. In the Caribbean, vitality isn't just a goal, it's a way of living. Connect with the region through knowledge, hope and the power of Caribbean resilience on Caribbean Medical TV, where awareness becomes power. Join the conversation, join the movement. Be viewing Season 4 of Caribbean Medical TV right here on this station.
Coming up, another show-stopping performance from the Republic Bank Exodus Steel Orchestra as Antigua and Barbuda got ready for its own fiesta of color and energy. New ideas for Tobago tourism delivered at the Youth Congress. This highly rated property fits in perfectly with the vacation offerings of St. Kitts and Nevis, where the future of travel was laid out. It's all next on this station.
Who said the elderly can't have fun too? We're talking good food, proper music, lots of games, and a day at the beach they will never forget. From the time we left the compound at Heavenly Care Home for the Elderly,
put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to Tobago Updates. Now we're just going to be sharing a bit of stuff that's going to be happening over the Shout Out Baptist holiday weekend. So we have first and foremost the Clean Sheet. That is a five-a-side tournament being hosted by ProPlay in collaboration with the Rotary Club of Tobago, and it's all about raising awareness for kidney cancer. I want to remind you that's happening on the 30th of March at 9 a.m. at the Eric Hovell Recreational Facility. It's $900 per team registration and $8,500 winner takes all. Remember, this is all about creating awareness for kidney cancer, something that's very prevalent within our male community. And we just want to use this opportunity to utilize this event hosted by ProPlay to really raise that awareness, and our men take their fitness and their health a lot more seriously. There are vendors that's going to be on site that is going to be having Dashin Pelori. I know that's something interesting, and I hope you guys go out and support the event and really take part in ensuring that we take care of ourselves. We put what is healthy into our body so that we can have life that is long enough so that we can spend with our family and loved ones. We also have coming up, we have Everything on Wheels. Parents and children are welcome. Strollers, bikes, scooters, wheelchairs, on foot. That is March 28th. That is tomorrow. It's at 4:30 p.m. sharp at Cano Bay. On that Cano Bay stretch, we know a lot of us go there to walk and exercise and run, and this is also a great opportunity to start off the weekend in a way where all family members can join in together. We enjoy and have a fun time. That's the Hardware. It's from the Hardware to the Tea and Tech plant back, and the entry fee is one non-perishable food item. It's going to be about fun and giving back. Our main sponsor is Candy Care Spa Services. Any information you want to get, that's 392-4816, 392-4816. And we're just shifting back a bit to ProPlay. Any information you want to get on registration, you can contact Deco at 294-7340, and you can get into contact with Casey as well for 363-4437. This is ProPlay, the Clean Sheet. And we're going to be there at the 30th of March 2026, 9 a.m. at the Eric Hovell Recreational Facility, and that's in Calder Hall, Tobago. Those are some of the events we have lined up for this weekend. We hope to see you out enjoying and having a fun time with family, taking care of your health, and really just enjoying what the weekend has to offer. I want to say to you guys at this time to ensure to have a safe weekend, to be safe, take care of yourself. And before we go to the break, remember to stay tuned and share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back with Marcus Daniel on all things sport here on Tobago Updates this morning.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and the service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships. It's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Hey goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. Rooted in connection, driven by community, it's who we are and the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here. Invested in the Caribbean, its people and its progress, and today, we're going even further. We're deepening our commitment to the region, continuing to invest in the networks, services, and digital solutions that move Caribbean businesses forward. With the most expansive network in the region, Tier 1 connectivity, 24/7 monitoring, and infrastructure built to endure even the most hurricane-prone zones. We're not just building a future-ready platform, we're proving that trust is earned through action, consistency, and care. We're evolving beyond connectivity. We're expanding our smart solutions, data center access, and cybersecurity services. All backed by local expertise, dedicated support, and a business continuity you can count on. And this is just the beginning. Introducing Liberty Business, a unified B2B brand built for the region and committed to you. Whether you are a mid-sized business or multinational player, we bring you resilient connectivity, personalized service, and tailored IT solutions, all powered by local teams that truly have your back. We're here to help you navigate challenges, grow, and achieve your goals with practical solutions, reliable networks, and a partnership rooted in trust and your long-term success. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Boulevard presents the Tobago Vibes Festival. 1 weekend, 4 free events. That's right, 4 nights of freeness at Nejon's Bar. Thursday, April 2nd, we start off with the Conscious Vibes at I Love Reggae, featuring international reggae superstar Roz Shiloh.
On to Zion we go, and I can't move slow, no.
Shiloh.
Are you satisfied? Wipe the tears from your eyes.
Also featuring TNT's very own Kevin Carter and Garden Knight, alongside your favorite reggae-matic DJs. Easter weekend on the Esplanade. It's the safe and secure, admission-free, first annual Tobago Vibes Festival. See social media for details. Keywords Tobago Vibes Festival. I Love Reggae. Powered by Nejon's Bar on the Boulevard.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Hi viewers, welcome back, and thank you so much for staying tuned to Tobago Updates Television. We are into the best segment on a Friday. It's a sporting segment. Have two really nice interviews lined up this morning. We're talking basketball, Elite Eagles Basketball Academy, Kerry Celestine and his team there, and also we're going to be chatting with Soren Bishop, talking about Carifta Games 2026, the 53rd Carifta Games set to take place in beautiful Grenada, 4th April to the 6th of April. We're going to get into that conversation where we have a number of Tobago athletes set to compete there. Some of our athletes are based in Jamaica, and they are going to be flying in to join Team TTO to, of course, fly the banner of Trinidad and Tobago. Last year down in Trinidad, we hosted the 52nd Carifta Games, and it was a spectacle. I know a number of persons who would have journeyed to Trinidad taking the games at the Hasty Crawford Stadium. One name stood out. I'm still feeling the vibe and shouting her name, O'Shea Cummings. She's now based in Jamaica, and of course trying to advance her career, and she has made the team again. I'm looking forward to seeing what she will do this year in Grenada. And of course, Trinidad and Tobago, but we know we have a special thing for Tobago athletes. So we're going to talk to Soren about the preparation. I know we had the manager of the team at Tobagonian as well, QK Melville. She was on earlier this week with Chanel, talking about the preparation of the team and how ready Team TTO will be come up against the likes of Jamaica and Bahamas. But Jamaica, last year they won it for 39 years straight. Again, all the teams are chasing Jamaica when it comes to track and field. Who knows, this year maybe our year, Team TTO. This is where a number of the stars you see now on the international stage, meaning Usain Bolt would have passed through, Darrell Brown, Ato Bowl, and all those guys would have passed through the Carifta Games. It's the spectacle when it comes to track and field in the Caribbean. So all the best to Team TTO going out there on the 4th to the 6th of April in Jamaica. It's the event, the sporting event when it comes to Easter that all of us will look forward to that. So we're going to get more information from Soren Bishop, who is the head of the athletic fraternity here in Tobago, and I'm happy that they have finalized that executive, because they have had a situation in the past where they had issues trying to get a quorum, and I'm happy that they have now organized a particular structure where we can have track and field being pushed and guided by an executive of persons with track and field at heart. So we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about basketball, and those Coach Kerry Celestine. When they talk about basketball in Tobago, they talk about Kerry Celestine with Elite Eagles, and he's going to talk about his Easter camp. And as we speak and talking about basketball, currently we have Signal Hill Secondary. They are currently in Trinidad participating in the national championships. Not good news to date, but the experience is good, the exposure is good for the players, and if you have been following the secondary schools basketball league this season, it would have been a very, very hard season for the players, a traumatic season where we had an untimely, an unfortunate situation, with a player dying not on the court, but have actually collapsed on the court and subsequently passed on. And the players, the officials, the organizers, everyone were actually traumatized by that situation, but the teams, they came together and eventually completed the season. And Signal Hill Secondary School, they won the girls, they won the under 15, the under 17s, and the under 20s. So when I come back, we're going to chat with Coach Kerry Celestine, talking about his summer camp, and we're going to talk a bit about the secondary schools basketball league as well. And then those are the two interviews we have this morning. And of course, feel free to share the live.
Trinidad, Tobago and abroad, your chance to drive away in a brand new SUV is still on. The BHS Centennial Raffle has been extended to Thursday 30th April 2026. And that's not all. Prizes include travel for two to Miami and Curacao, Tobago staycation, iPhones, computers, smart TVs and more. Tickets still only $100. Get yours at selected outlets or at islandetickets.com. Details at bishopstobago100.com/raffle.
TL Promotion presents Laugh and Live this Good Friday, 7 p.m. It's non-stop laughter at Birchwood Legacy Park, Lowlands. Special guest from Jamaica, Mr. Funny himself, Owen Blacker Ellis. From Trinidad, Rising Comics, Alan the Entertainer, and Son Son. And from Tobago, amateur comic, Bishop Terence Baines. Listen, this is a laughing matter. Get your tickets now at Den's Electronics, 2nd floor, Port Mall, Scarborough. An Island e-tickets or call 685-1988. At the door, you will pay more. It's gonna be a family affair. Laughter is good for the soul, whether you're young or you're old. So get your tickets now. You can't afford to miss it. Add some laughter to your Easter.
People, the 4th and 5th of April, it's all about Arise. Tobago, we coming. Oh, let's see the video of jumping out of planes for this one. Parachuting down to the Scarborough Amphitheater. Yes, this is the place to be. Along with other friends and them, and even the ones from Tobago too. Big up all yourself. We're going to have a great time in Jesus' name. Arise!
Arise! Blissful melodies come from heaven, so his praise are given to the King that given it.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. Rooted in connection, driven by community. It's who we are and the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, thank you so much for staying tuned to Tobago Update Television. And just before the break, talk about the persons that we have on set this morning, and we have one in studio currently. Kerry Celestine, should I say Managing Director, Head Coach of the Elite Eagles Basketball Academy. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Appreciate for having me.
Yeah, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a while.
Definitely.
It's been a while. But so much happening with basketball in Tobago.
Yeah.
Well, we had this morning to talk about your Easter basketball camp. And before get into that conversation, Kerry, I can't have you here and not talk about that unfortunate situation that transpired this year in the secondary schools basketball league with Michael Okubusa. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And continue to rest in peace, and of course condolences to friends and family of Michael Okubusa. I know that he was a part of your academy as well. I mean, just a word or two about Michael.
So Michael started in my academy because of the Bishop's High School program. He's gentle giant.
He's gentle giant.
He's somebody who man of little words. But one thing about him, I always say, his smile is infectious.
Yeah.
Like when he smiles, his eyes chinky, his face gets so light, bright, and everything. And he just had a gentleness about him, but he was a big man.
Yeah.
So that's why they call him the gentle giant.
So prerequisite for basketball.
Yeah, it was so unfortunate how everything happened. I mean, a young fella, just 18 years old, his life pretty much just started. But sometimes we have so many questions, but God always in control. So may his soul rest in peace. Pray for his family, condolences to his family and his friends, and I hope that everything would coming out of this, things could get better. Meaning that we see the importance of early screening, and making sure that we put all the measures in place to make sure that this don't ever happen again, because sport's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be killing anybody. Right? So unfortunate situation, but we have to learn and grow from the situation.
Yeah, very, very much unfortunate and an unfortunate situation. And I was there for the secondary schools basketball final, and of course the tribute that the Division of Education, Skills and Innovation would have actually, had for him. He brought a lot of persons to tears. I mean, it must have been difficult for you as a basketball coach with Bishops and for the basketball players in the secondary schools fraternity to start back the league.
Yes,
that would have been difficult for you.
It was difficult. I remember after the situation in the after, what I really love about the responses that the next day they had people come into the school and had counseling session with the players and stuff like that, because that was so important for them to understand that how to grieve, how to deal with situations like this, because for some of them it's the first time they witnessed something like this.
For me as well, first time I was not there, but just seeing about the situation. In fact, I mean, you know that we are connected to it because I work at the sport and education unit, and I mean it took us a long while to actually recover from it, and I know some of them are still actually affected by it because we administrate sport and we don't expect something like that to happen on a basketball court or any field or court in that matter. And we're hoping that it doesn't happen again, but that's how life goes. And I'm happy that you guys would have had the support system in place and that you would have continue the league, and of course winning for Michael in that sense, because we now have Signal Hill in Trinidad competing nationally, and you wanted to give him that experience.
Definitely,
fantastic. But I mean, Kerry, we're talking about your Elite Eagles Basketball Academy, and we want to get more Michael Okobusas coming out from there. Tell me about the camp.
So first of all, a brief description of the academy. We started in 2014, right? The main aim for the academy was to develop more basketball players in Tobago. What I realized coming out of college is that we had a small amount of young people taking part in basketball, and for me that was hard to witness and to see that happening. And I can come back with all my wealth and knowledge and all my experience and not do anything about it, because like I tell everybody that I communicate with, everything that I have is because of basketball. And then somebody invested in my life. So I believe that my role and responsibility here in Tobago is to give back to other young players as well. So my camp, my academy, we have three main things that we do. After school program, vacation camps, and we host tournaments. So that's the umbrella in which we function in, right? So this Easter camp that we're doing is just part of what we do, right? It's a way we recruit, right? Every year we try to develop younger players. We not just develop, but find younger players, because what we realize is that we are starting too late. And you would also know that basketball is one of the only sports that we don't have any primary school system.
I wonder why.
I don't know why is that, but it's something that we really need to work on, because we see that we started volleyball, and I see that volleyball is coming along really well. So I'm hoping in the coming years,
that's something that you would love to see.
Definitely.
And then we have, is it that so we can get the rings and these? Okay.
Definitely. So this is pretty much like a introduction for people who are not familiar with basketball. So I'm looking for the younger ones. Ideally, I'm looking for the ones who just did see it yesterday. So all the young boys who are interested in basketball, right, this camp is perfect for you.
This is from age 11?
We start from 10.
From 10.
So that you guys could learn the game and just get a better understanding of the game and stuff like that. So it's an introduction to the sport of basketball. So it's not necessary for people who have been playing for years. So I'm just looking for recruiting the younger ones who's interested, anybody who's interested to learn about basketball. This
boys
camp is
and
for you.
girls.
Boys and girls.
Okay, so what do they need to attend the camp?
So the camp is at Montgomery Hardcourt, right? From 4 in the afternoon to 7, right? So in that 3-hour period, what we're gonna do is we're gonna teach them from the basic fundamentals. One, teach them about the court, because sometimes you have to learn the field. The lines, which lines mean, because sometimes we watch the game and some of the children don't even know where to stand on the court. So it's all about just educating them about the sport.
And the rules as well.
And the rules
very
of the
important.
game, definitely. So it's simple. You come on the court, there's a registration form to fill out and stuff like that. And it's only $200.
$200,
right? Because one, I want to have other coaches come to
Okay,
assist us.
so we're going to access as well, yeah?
Because for me, it's hard for me to do everything, to manage, to administrate, to do everything. So I'm having a couple of coaches coming on different days to help out, to teach these children about the game of basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to be provided with a T-shirt?
Yes. So you will get a T-shirt, an Elite Eagles T-shirt, because for me, it's part of the looking uniform.
Yes.
You know, I want when you come on the court, you see a sea of yellow. You understand? You know, so when you come on the court, you see a large amount of young people taking part in sport, because one of the things that I really wanted was to create a safe space where young people could come and learn a sport, but also develop life skills and stuff like that, because sports could teach you a lot of things.
Trust me,
it could teach you about communication, it could teach you about different strategy,
Discipline
it could teach you
as
discipline, patience, you know, all of these different things. So for me, I just want to at least just save one person,
and you end up saving many.
And then you end up saving many.
But I'm just before you wrap, right? I know that when it comes to basketball in Tobago, Shaw Park is like the epicenter of basketball in Tobago. How has that impacted your programs in Tobago?
That has impacted me a lot. Since we have moved to Montgomery, where most of my training is now, I've lost couple of players. Why? Because of the distance.
Yeah, because I mean, and for those who aren't aware, I mean, Shaw Park is under major construction. I mean, they're trying to get the tennis courts back up to a particular standard, international standard, the basketball court as well. I mean, the only thing I wish they could have done is probably cover it. Because I mean, we there Monday morning. Whole week we're there playing sweating, nighttime for that sweating there as well. And you know, it has been out for like a good while. And I think Montgomery has now become the home for basketball. Because I pass there regularly and then I see netball, I see basketball. I mean, so it has impacted not only you, but the basketball fraternity.
Because everybody now is at that one location.
At one location.
So we have different clubs trying to vie for that space. So now we just have to, we work together well. Because we know that everybody have to utilize the space. But with having Shaw Park back on board, I think it will have a different, another option for people to come and just have an opportunity to play basketball and or netball or tennis.
Or tennis,
you know, because listen, I play all three sports. You know, tennis was one of my full sports, and then I like to play netball and even watch netball because as a basketballer, I have motivation to come out and watch some netball as well. So
I like this netball as well.
Definitely.
And then Kerry, before you go, just again for persons interested, let's give them the information.
All right, so it's a 4-day camp. We start next week Monday to Thursday. Right, it's at Montgomery Hard Court. It's 200 per player. T-shirts will be provided. You know, get water and stuff like that. And it's just an opportunity for young people just to learn and to just be introduced to the sport of basketball. And coming out of that, we'll see if we could get the next LeBron James.
Fantastic.
You know, coming out of Tobago. You know,
how can they contact you and how can they pay the registration? Is it on the day?
Well, there's same day registration, and then also there is a online form that you could also sign up as well. And once they come, you register. You sign up and everything. We get everybody settled and stuff like that, and we're just gonna have an extremely fun experience. Because for me, I'm big on experience.
I like that.
And I want these youths to be able to fall in love with the game. And then once they fall in love, it makes my job easier as a coach. You know?
Exactly.
So
and we have a thriving basketball league in the secondary schools, and who knows, maybe in the primary schools to come as well. Kerry, thank you so much for being here this morning, and I like the time you chose as well, 4 to 7, not in the daytime where it's kind of hot and then sometimes they may have other things doing in the July during the Easter vacation. So 4 to 7, cool afternoon. And I'm hoping that you guys, you know, in a shared space, you know, persons will allow you to have that camp, which is very important, especially when it comes to life skills. Thank you so much for being here, Kerry, and of course, don't be a stranger. And we look forward to more conversation where basketball is concerned in Tobago. And viewers have been chatting with Kerry Celestine, head coach of Elite Eagles Academy, talking about the Easter basketball camp. Yeah, you have something to do over the Easter vacation. It's only 4 days, and you're learning a lot. Right? Get your word down there, boy or girl, and they're going to enjoy a wonderful time. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be chatting with Soren Bishop, talking track and field and Character Games 2026. Don't forget, share the live, share the live, share the live.
Hop, hop, hip hooray, Easter money's on its way.
Some bunnies getting a great rate today. Looking for a rate that's bright and sunny?
hop on down for some Easter money. 1% interest through and through. Because we see you at BCU. Apply for a 1% Easter loan and let's hatch something great together.
Hop, hop, hip hooray. Easter money's on its way.
TL Promotion presents Laugh and Live this Good Friday, 7 p.m. It's non-stop laughter at Bertrude Legacy Park, Lowland. Special guest from Jamaica, Mr. Funny himself, Owen Blacker Ellis. From Trinidad, Rising Comics, Alan the Entertainer, and Son Son. And from Tobago, amateur comic, Bishop Terence Baines. Listen, this is a laughing matter. Get your tickets now at Den's Electronics, 2nd floor, Port Mall, Scarborough. An Island e-tickets or call 685-1988. At the door, you will pay more. It's gonna be a family affair. Laughter is good for the soul, whether you're young or you're old. So get your tickets now. You can't afford to miss.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Viewers, welcome back to the Tobago Updates Television. We're in the sporting segment, and Natalie allowed me a few minutes to talk to Sir Bishop here this morning into the Good Morning Tobago segment, but of course talking sports still. Sir, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Marcus, and good morning, Tobago. Good morning to the international community.
Yes, man. I like how you're always repping Team TTO. So in Character Games 2026. April 4th to the 7th. We saw the announcement some weeks ago, Team TTO. And, you know, obviously we're talking Tobago, and we're talking about Tobago athletes. Let us start there. I mean, how many Tobago athletes were selected on the team? And how many persons in total selected in the team?
I think the team has 74.
74?
Yes, 74 athletes. A very big team, just like last year.
Yeah.
We have 16 Tobago athletes.
16 Tobago athletes?
16, yes.
Yeah. And of course, Soren is the head of the Tobago Athletic Fraternity. What do you call it? Tobago Athletics?
Athletics Tobago.
Athletics Tobago. Yeah. That's the rebranded name. Yeah. Athletics Tobago. 16 Tobago athletes. I mean, I know some persons will want to know who are those athletes that we have representing our country out there in Grenada.
Well, just allow me to so I'll big up the clubs one time, so I'll name out by clubs. So we have 5 from Zenith Athletic Club.
Yeah.
We have Alex Henry, who actually is in Jamaica taking part in Champs presently, and she's going to be leading like the Tobago contingent.
Champs, right? Jamaica Champs.
Yes, she's actually representing Edwin Allen.
Right. So is this like, where can persons, before we get back to that, where can persons like view this Champs?
Pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view. That's how big Jamaica, that's how big it is.
Used to bring it, but Sportsmax closed down last year, so.
But it's so big that I actually have to pay to view it. That's because there's interest in it.
Yes, big.
Okay,
big,
so we have Alex
so
in the
we have
Champs.
Alex Henry. We have O'Shea Cummins, who is there, but she cannot participate in Champs this year because she has to sit out a year.
Oh,
that's one of the rules.
Right. That's because she just joined
She just joined, so she has to sit out 1 year.
Okay.
And she'll be taking part in the 15 and the 800.
And Alex is 100 and...
Alex is 1 and 2, and the 4x1.
Right.
We have Zaya Alexander. Right. So thanks for the list. We have Zaya Alexander.
Right.
Not Zaya Alexander. What I'm saying, Zaya Tobias. Yes. She's going to be taking part in the long jump and the 4x1. We have...
I'm saying Deja Reed.
Jaquan Douglas.
Right.
He is in the 100 and the 4x1. Boys under 17. They have one more athlete. How could I forget Miss Reed? Deja Reed.
She's actually making up.
She did the long jump. Yes, this is her first year in the Character Games.
Long jump and 4x1.
That's a great, famous Kelsey Reed and Dyke Reed.
Coach Kelsey.
They're both two former Character national athletes as well.
That's really so. Actually, this is it runs in her blood, right?
Right.
Deja.
Right. So then we have from Kaizen Panthers. We have 4 athletes. We have Lemuel Obefon. He'll be in the high jump. We have Caleb Campbell. He's in the decathlon.
Right.
Kiori Robley. She's in the heptathlon.
And Kiori is returning as well.
Yes.
I think she went to
this
the
is the final year. And then Imani Matthews.
Imani Matthews.
He's in the long jump.
Yeah. Very impressive, Emmanuel.
Right.
Yeah.
We have 4 from RSS Phoenix.
RSX Phoenix.
That's one of the big clubs in Tobago.
Superstar,
Yes. Rising Superstar.
Yes, Rising Superstars. Yes, Phoenix. Yes.
Club. We have Darion Whiteman. He's in the 800. We have Niall Allen. He's in the Ocathlon Boys Under 17. Let me see if the list can also help. We have Jafari Shaw. He's based in Jamaica as well. And he's doing the shot put and the discus. And they have Jadani Williams. He's the 800 and 1500.
So we have a good balance of track and field
track,
athletes.
field, long distance. So we have a nice mix there from Tobago.
Nice mix there, yes.
Then we have 2 from Mercury Athletic Club. Shauna Parson, long and triple jump, girls under 20. Jafari Edwards in the boys under 17 Ocathlon. And then we have 1 more athlete from Tobago Select that is Kyle Alexander Reed. He's based in Jamaica as well, and he's supposed to be taking
But we're claiming all of them. We're claiming them.
Yes, all of
we're
them.
claiming them.
Of course.
We're claiming them.
They're from Tobagonians,
Tobagonians.
and he's from Tobago Select. And he'll be doing 800, I think.
Yeah, and in terms of management, because I know I saw QK
we have
Melville
QK
as the manager.
Tobago. She living in Trinidad now.
But we came in
Tobago.
Yes.
We have Derry Wills, who is actually from Tobago. He participated, he represented Zenith and Mercury. And then we have Alan Morrison.
Well, Alan is he's like a staple in over here. I mean, he is always on the character team. Very, very good. He's jumps coach, right? Combined coach, in fact. Combined coach. So in 74 contingent, 74 member contingent, or 75 around there. 25 medals in total last year. I think we got 9 gold, 6 silver, and 10 bronze. I mean, can we eclipse that this year?
This year is going to prove. I think that we can. We can actually surpass. I think the combination of the team is a good team. It's a very strong team because the standard was raised from last year. I want the viewers to understand that the standard was raised from last year. From the 6th place average of Carifta for the last 3, and it went up to 4th. And a number of the athletes, many of the athletes came up. And the standard was raised incrementally higher than before.
And that's something to do every year?
Yes. Okay. We know there's a coaching and development committee, committee that sit down and they come up with the standard and bring it to the national body, and then we would say if we agree or not. And they brought it up. There was a little bit of quarreling in between because coaches was like, the Carifta Games really supposed to be a development meet for upcoming athletes. And the executive stood on the ground and they said, no, let's raise the standard so that the athletes could come up.
And they blew it out the park.
And the athletes actually came up along with it. We must big up the coaches. You see the coaches? We must remember that when we have talented athletes, there are coaches that are behind them.
And coaches, parents.
Yes.
That support system, you really need that. And of course, administrators to ensure that you have the funding and the facilities as well. I mean, so when I always catch you at a time where I have to be rushing you. and I'm going to put in a plug. You're not going to be leaving.
No,
you're not going to be leaving with the team.
I'll be here.
So we're going to be discussing, or you can recap Carifta Games after the retain, all right? But before I allow you to go, because Natalie is on next, very important interview as well. I mean, your expectation in terms of, is there a particular athlete that you are looking out for outside of Mercury, which is your club? That we know
to be honest, I was talking to a couple of the other coaches from Tobago, and I want to tell you that Tobago, from the Tobago contingent, we could there's a realistic chance of us bringing home at least 10 medals.
Fantastic. That's big news.
And I'm hoping that my prediction stays on point.
I think so as well. I think it's, because as you mentioned a while ago, coaches, you guys have been putting in the work.
Yeah, we have.
And as I mentioned before you came on earlier, I'm happy to now see there's a structure where track and field is concerned in Tobago. You have an executive, and the executive will support the clubs. And to all the clubs with athletes, congratulations to all the clubs. And to those who may not have had an athlete there, still continue to put the work in, because it's a very important sector in Tobago, track and field.
Yes,
it's a way out, and I'm happy to know that we have a number of athletes competing in Jamaica.
Yes.
And you are rubbing shoulders with persons from outside Jamaica as well, internationally there. So I'm looking to see what O'Shea can do this year. Alex and the others, the outside there. So looking forward to that. So any final words before I allow you to go?
We just want the public to continue to pray for the athletes, pray for their success, and whatever support we could get. Let me put this plug in to cooperate Tobago. We need to support our young people, and track and field is an actual viable avenue for athletes to get out and showcase their talent, and also get scholarships, and also make money. And we're going to discuss this. Later on.
We're going to come back and we're going to recap character games. We're going to come back and recap character games. So, thank you so much for being here this morning. And I really want to wish Team TTO all the best, to QK Melvin and the management team. I mean, you guys, I know you have your work cut out, but I mean, you guys have you are made for this. Yeah, it's not something that you are now making up to. You have been living track and field, and I wish you guys a safe journey to and from Grenada, and bring them all the medals to Trinidad and Tobago. But before I go, I want to wish a special person a very happy birthday this morning, Natalie. Natalie, happy birthday to you. She's up next. Oh, look at that pose. Look at that dress as well. Yeah. Big up Natalie one time. I mean, it didn't born in October, but March is a special month as well. And I really hope you have a wonderful day today, Natalie. And we're going to come back with Natalie. Good morning, Tobago. Thank you so much for staying tuned to Tobago Updates Television Sports Show. Stay tuned. Right after the break, we have Natalie. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning. And share the live, share the live, share the live.
Girls of Impact TT, in collaboration with Youth Energized for Success program under the Division of Youth Empowerment in Sport, hosted its second International Women's Day Symposium here in Tobago under the theme Give to Gain, Empower, Serve and Rise. The event brought together fourth form girls from 9 secondary schools across the island, creating a space for inspiration, learning and growth.
We want our young women in attendance to appreciate that while titles and positions do have their place in leadership, leadership is not just about a title. It's about giving your time and your talent and your resources for a cause that is greater than yourself.
As the Secretary with responsibility for youth empowerment and sport, let me state unequivocally, investing in you is one of the most important responsibilities that I carry. Our team today, Give to Gain, Empower, Serve and Rise, is not just inspirational language. It is a principle of power. In a world that often encourages taking, competing and comparing, the team teaches us a higher truth. When you give something meaningful, you gain something transformative. When you give discipline to your studies, you gain excellence. When you give respect, you gain influence. And when you give encouragement to another young lady, you gain unity.
Today's theme, Give to Gain, Empower, Serve and Rise, reflects the transformative power of generosity, reciprocity and service. It recognises that giving is not a loss, but an act of intentional multiplication that strengthens individuals and communities. It also neatly fits into the UN theme, Rights, Justice, Action for all women and girls. Giving can take many forms: time, knowledge, mentorship, advocacy, visibility, skills, creativity, or resources. Each contribution helps expand opportunity, build confidence, and create networks of support for women and girls.
The power of service. Service is a remarkable way of preparing you for leadership long before the title ever arrives. Service, when done genuinely and generously, will shape you. It will stretch you. It will set you up for success in ways that you may never imagine. Many people see service as sacrifice or maybe servitude. Maybe that's why sometimes they say we give poor customer service. Yeah? But I see it differently. Service is not weakness. Service is not secondary. Service is strategy. I want to encourage you. Do not wait to be chosen. Too often, we as women, we waiting. We want somebody to pick we. We want somebody to choose we. We want somebody to give it to us. Start carving and creating your own space. Create your own tables like the women of Girls of Impact have carved, created their own table. Yeah? And invite other persons to come to that table. Choose to serve, volunteer, lead initiatives. It doesn't take much. Join committees, support other women and girls, add value wherever you are. As I said, you don't have to wait until you reach to having a title to add value. You could add value even right here today as you progress throughout the day. Service today prepares you for leadership tomorrow. When you commit yourself to serving others, life has a remarkable way of placing you where.
What I learned today is that you don't have to wait till you're older or till you're in a higher position to make an impact on other people's life and your life.
I would try to be more confident and try to give more advice and try to help other girls who weren't here, because there were girls who were supposed to come for our school but they didn't come, so I would try to share the information to them.
In order to gain, you need to give. So provide service, help around the community, encourage others, be impactful.
What did I learn? I learned that true power comes from sharing knowledge and resources gained to others and helping out around your community.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Viewers, you are viewing GMT. Good morning, Tobago. I'm your host, Natalie C.D. Richardson, this morning, and let me thank you all for all the birthday greetings. Thank you, Marcus, and all the others in studio as well, and for all those of you who are sending messages. Of course, we have a very important guest with us. He's no stranger, and that is Senior Superintendent Rodil Kirk, and we are going to talk about our behavior on the road as drivers. Now, the data shows we are over 200 vehicular accidents in Tobago, and we're not even finished with the month of March. So we'll hear more about the current statistics and what we can do to make things better. Good morning and welcome, sir.
Good morning, Natalie. Good morning, Tobago. And let me take the opportunity to also say happy birthday to you.
Thank you kindly. But before we get into what we're really here, I can't have you here and not ask, of course, many of us would have woken up to the unfortunate news of a murder in the Patience Hill area. Can you share or comment on that?
Yes. Unfortunately, I am always saddened by the fact that, this small island of Tobago, we have one murder is too much. Last night around 10:35, the deceased Kurt Bovell was among a group of persons liming at a birth night celebration at Patience Hill Main Road in the vicinity of Flambeau Restaurant, when a gunman approached and fired several shots. Now that caused the other persons present to disperse, and the gunman left on foot. Upon checking, the person discovered Mr. Bovell lying with gunshot wounds. Of course, he was pronounced dead on the scene, and the Homicide Bureau Tobago is currently investigating the matter.
And of course, at this time, we extend condolences to the Bovell family. Of course, the loss of a life is never a good news, and especially under circumstances like this. So let's switch gears a bit and talk about road safety. As I mentioned earlier, you know, we are over the 200 mark in terms of vehicular accidents, and we know that Tobago is small. So that figure sounds quite alarming. Can you bring us up to speed with the exact data where we are at?
Indeed, when I saw the data, it was a bit alarming to me as well, and that's why I took the decision that I have to reach out and appeal to the motoring public in terms of the attitudes on the road, because I myself witnesses on a daily basis how people drive, and people actually need to pay more attention to the traffic regulations so that we could mitigate and minimize these incidents. So when I look at the data, having assumed responsibility for Tobago in January, I am seeing, we are now at March, and I'm seeing that we have in the month of January 119 reports, followed in February by 97, and in March 65, and that is a figure up to the 19th of March. So we know very well that we are over that figure as well. I also noticed that we have 3 fatalities.
Right.
2 involving motorcyclists, and the other, there was a person on the roadway, a vehicle would have rolled over. Unfortunately, condolences to the family as well. That is of concern to us, the TTPS in Tobago.
Now, you mentioned reported. So obviously we know that there are some accidents may go unreported for whatever reason.
That may be so as well, right? But this is what we have captured based on the data of those persons who came forward and reported the accidents.
Right.
Right? And when we look, if we should do a breakdown by way of district, we see that in Charlottesville, we had 1 report. That was a trivial RTA. We see Crown Point, we have 35. Moriah, we have 3. Shervan Road, we had 74. Roxborough, we had 23. And Scarborough, 145. Wow. So Scarborough seems to be the, largest area where accidents are being reported. And the thing about it, if persons are conscious of the environment, we know that the roads in Tobago are not wide, and people tend to have patience. I believe people in Tobago should more particularly practice the elements of defensive driving. We shouldn't be in no hurry to go anywhere in Tobago because you could get from point A to B in 45 minutes.
Right.
To the furthest point.
Yes.
So I can't understand the reason. Most of these road traffic accidents are caused by human error. Poor exercise of poor judgment on the roadway. So you are coming up the road, you are driving within a close distance behind the person in front of you, and something should happen, suddenly you run into the back. Or you try to overtake at a place that is improper to do so, and you touch the person in front of you. Right? Some of them are even caused by people parked on the roadway, and a vehicle has run into you. So again, that is people not paying attention while using the roadways. And I also want to reach out to civilians, not civilians, pedestrians.
Right.
Pedestrians have a way, they are crossing the road, and they want to do so in a sort of nonchalant way.
Yes, in style, as though they are on a runway.
Again, those are some of the contributing factors to these road traffic accidents. And this long weekend, we know that the tendency is there for more to occur. What we are going to do as the police, I don't want to keep it as any secret.
Right.
We are going to be out on the roadways.
Right.
We are going to look at your speed. We are going to look at your vehicles, whether it's roadworthy. We are going to do that, and we are going to exercise all our options within the law to deal with any situation that comes up in terms of errant drivers.
Before you continue, Senior Superintendent, do you think, was the data, when capturing the reports, does the data tell you the cause of these accidents? So is it because of speeding? And, you know, you mentioned people parked on the road, but I want to go even further than that. In addition to people parking on the road, people who have particular type of businesses that spill out in the roadway, you know, does the TTPS have jurisdiction over those? Can they go and tell them, hey, pack up your things, move your things, whether it's you're welding on the road, you're building something, and you're obstructing?
Yes, of course. That is a campaign we are going to embark on with all these persons who would have their roadside garages. They will put the vehicles on the road, and the derelict vehicles also. That is something that we are going to treat with. It has always been an issue in Tobago where you'll go some places and you'll see lines of vehicles on the roadway and nothing is being done in terms of the repairs, and they would remain there for months upon months. Those vehicles pose a threat to the safety of other persons using the road. And we are going to reach out to those persons who are responsible and give them some time in addition to the time they already had them there. And if they fail to act, we will do our part in treating with it as well.
And this year we saw, in terms of the Motor Vehicle Act and all the fines, we saw that some of the fines increased, even as there are fines as even as high as 24,000. Does that really, from sitting, you know, again, looking at the data, do you think that really has contributed to lessening? Is it really something that will help motorists take their time and say, well, you know, now I can really get into more trouble? Does it deter us in terms of our behavior?
Deterrence is always something that we look at, and whether in fact that the current system works or not. Now, what used to happen before we had the U-turn system where the demerit points was in progress? Well, we know that has been relaxed to some extent.
Right.
That persons no longer have points placed on their driving permits in such an extent. So persons tend to, you know, they don't see, well, I don't want to broad brush it, but some persons, because of that, they tend to, you know, operate on the roadway like, you know, even if they give me a ticket, I will deal with that and I move forward.
Right.
But of course, the fines will increase, and that in itself will cause some persons to be aware and cause some persons to try to do better on the roadway. However, but there are those who are bent on going contrary to what the regulations are, and you will always find those persons who will, regardless of what, they will drive the way in a manner that is dangerous to other persons using the road. So we have to implement our enforcement measures to capture those persons so that maybe at the end of the day, when their license are suspended, etc., they can't blame the police.
Right.
Their own action that resulted in
How
that.
can the TTPS contribute to the change of behavior with those using the roadways?
Again, this is one of the mediums that we could use. We could go out on a public information campaign. We are going to use social media. We're going to use our corporate communications unit, because I think we need to do that based on what I'm seeing. This is just the 3rd month.
Yeah.
And we have 9 more to go. So I'm hoping that at the end of those 9 months, I can see that there's a decrease from where we were last year. But the rate in which we are going, if we are already exceeded 300, it means that, and 300 in 3 months, if you could use that as a yardstick, you know, and we have 12 months in the year, imagine how much we will end up with at the end of the year. So again, we are going to go out on our public information campaign. We're going to use persons from our traffic department time to time to come out to ask you, the media houses, of course, to accommodate us so that we can share the information with the public, so that they will be aware as to what is taking place as well.
Where should the target area be concentrated on? Because we know we have the drivers. When you reach age 17, you legally can't drive once you go through the legal requirements. Is the TTPS reaching out to those who are not at the age of 17 to kind of indoctrinate them and get them where they should be? Because you mentioned drivers seem very impatient, and I'm thinking if that is the cause of our accidents, then we are in control. We can definitely have an impact where we if we can change our behavior, but who is to guarantee that the person who's hustling to get wherever and decides to overtake where they shouldn't, etc., really change that behavior?
Our message will be for everyone. But you know, sometimes we have the notion that most accidents are caused by young drivers. You know, that really, when you look at the information gathered, you know, that's not so.
Right.
There are some seasoned drivers who actually are errand drivers. And we have that situation in Tobago, especially. Whilst I don't want to broad brush any category of persons, we know the persons who do the applying for hire as well. You will notice them trying to overtake on the roadway where, you know, sometimes I just wonder, then the shoulder will pass, they will overtake 10 vehicles, and that is because trying to do that. And that is real. We are going to target those persons as well. Again, I am on this platform to put it out there that there's no secret. We are going to be on the roadway, and if you are caught, you are going to deal with the consequences that result from your action about your errand driving.
And you mentioned the focus on this week. You know, a lot of domestic visitors are coming in for the long weekend. There is always a buzz. We have 2 weeks of school closure, and there's always a lot of activities during this time. And you mentioned the focus on it, but what happens beyond that? Because I think we have learned the Pat Tobago. You see it when it's great race, you see it. So these key moments, the visit of the TTPS is very strong. But outside of that, we have a mobile use right in front of the port. At one point, you would see the officers going in. I can't recall the time I saw officers there being opened, you know. And we admit that when the TTPS hits the road, it deters whether it's robberies, you know, small theft at business places, and drivers are more attentive to what they're doing. But hardly ever see police just walking around unless they are out just to issue tickets, you know.
Well, I beg to differ, especially now during the state of emergency. You know, the police are tasked with several responsibilities.
Right.
So at the point where quite recently we had to, you know, actually pay attention to several schools on the island because we know uptick in a lot of school violence. So during this SOE, there are a lot of responsibilities placed on the police. So sometimes in this Caribbean area, you may not see them. Let me see that sometimes quiet times in the afternoon. You may more see them when during the peak times around, because we have a lot of projects that we are embarking on. Very soon, not only in the time, but because of our strategic plans now have in place, you will tend to see differently going forward for the rest of the year. Because we know Tobago is a busy time. Tobago has a long kind of events throughout the entire year. So, you know, we are going to work with that in terms of how we deploy our resources on the road. So that is something you'll see improving going forward.
Right. And are you comfortable in terms of the resources allocated to the TTPS to be effective, executing, or encouraging drivers to be safe?
Well, again, you know, we have been working with what we have. We can, you know, there's room for improvement. We will always welcome additional resources. So what we tend to do to mitigate, tend to work along with all the different agencies on the island. Also, during this busy time, we get a lot of support, our colleagues in Trinidad who actually travel to the island to assist us. So again, you know, throughout the quiet times, we have to cope with what we have. However, you know, all other agencies that we partner with tend to get on board in terms of these times so that we could rely on their support going forward to us in policing the island.
Very well, and I know that we look forward to it, and of course, viewers, those of us who are drivers, we also have to take responsibility of TPS can implement all that they want to, but if we continue to break the law and continue to, you know, be very impatient, of course, that will follow, and many times when an accident happens, there's no control outcome, and we talk about, you know, loss of life, we talk about injuries, and we really need to be more attentive. And I always encourage us, you know, look out for each other. You know, we'll get where we're going, as Senior Superintendent mentioned. You know, the furthest point apart. 45 minutes, we'll get there, you know. And I want to, you know, if you can just go through the steps, because some people are involved in motor vehicle accidents and they are not sure of the law or the process, or they depend on someone else to give them the guidance. So for benefit of our viewers who are listening, you know, should the unfortunate situation arise where they find themselves in a vehicle accident, what is the right process?
Well, first of all, let's say you're involved in an accident. One of the first responsibilities is to render aid to the injured, provided that you are not injured, right? After that, you would tend to go to the nearest police station to make a report of the accident. Now, there are sometimes people would actually communicate with the other party and they will settle their differences before going to the station. But it's always safe to report your accident, and you have basically people will say with as soon as practicable after, but even so, you make the report say within 24 hours.
Okay.
Right? When you go to the station, you can still go to the station after that, and they will take your report.
Okay.
It's that when you go outside of the 24 hours, the police will give you what you call a warning in writing. Within 24 hours, they will give you a verbal warning. Okay. That is a warning of intended prosecution. Then the police will do an investigation. Now, if during the investigation it is found out that one party has breached the traffic regulation, well, then charges will be preferred at that point in time. If the parties involved, you know, decided that they will settle the differences, the police tend to allow that, and then they would we will close that investigation and that accident report. Other than that, you know, once somebody breaches the traffic regulation and the investigation is complete, usually prosecution follows.
And I really want to thank you for your time. I know you have a lot to do, especially preparing for what is to come for this long weekend. And again, viewers, you know, let's really think about our behavior, think about how we are on the roadway. And we see it all the time. And you know what? We learn the right thing for regulation to pass the regulation. And unfortunately, when we get the driver's permit, everything goes through the window. You know, indicators on the vehicle for a reason. You know, let's try and use it and not use the indicator after you have made the turn. That's another thing I see. People use indicators after the fact. I'm not sure how it's indicating anything by that time. And sometimes these little habits that we have, you know, encourage unnecessary accidents. You know, an accident should really be just that, not an incident, but an accident. But many times, you know, senior superintendent accidents that I'm sure reported, and I would often tell people, you know, it's more of an incident because it should not have happened if we followed the law. So viewers, organize yourselves, and I would allow you, you know, to share any closing comments with our viewers this time.
Well, again, I just want to tell the Tobago public you are normally well behaved. This is the long weekend. We want you to exercise caution. Don't drink and drive. You know, those persons who are going to take part in activities, be self-aware. You know, we can't control what may happen outside, so we are asking your responsibility to have a level of alertness when you are going in and out. We are not immune from criminal activities, so we are asking, although we will be out there, we are asking that you take make every effort to protect yourself and those persons who are with you whilst you enjoy the activities.
Thank you so much, viewers. That's all the time we have for this interview. But on the other side of the break, we have two other guests who will be joining us as we talk about Liberation Day that will be observed on Monday. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
To a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise, the energy.
John's Bar on the Boulevard presents the Tobago Vibes Festival. 1 weekend, 4 free events. That's right, 4 nights of freeness at John's Bar. Thursday, April 2nd, we start off with the Conscious Vibes at I Love Reggae, featuring international reggae superstar Roz Shiloh.
On to Zion we go, and I can't move slow, no.
Shiloh.
Are you satisfied? Wipe the tears from your eyes.
Also featuring TNT's very own Kevin Carter and Garden Knight, alongside your favorite reggae-matic DJs. Easter weekend on the Esplanade. It's the safe and secure, admission-free, first annual Tobago Vibes Festival. See social media for details. Keywords Tobago Vibes Festival. I love reggae. Powered by Nejon's Bar on the Boulevard.
Trinidad, Tobago and abroad, your chance to drive away in a brand new SUV is still on. The BHS Centennial Raffle has been extended to Thursday, 30th April 2026. And that's not all. Prizes include travel for two to Miami and Curacao, Tobago staycation, iPhones, computers, smart TVs, and more. Tickets still only $100. Get yours at selected outlets or at islandetickets.com. Details at bishopstobago100.com/raffle.
Coming up, another show-stopping performance from the Republic Bank Exodus Steel Orchestra as Antigua and Barbuda got ready for its own fiesta of color and energy. New ideas for Tobago tourism delivered at the Youth Congress. This highly rated property fits in perfectly with the vacation offerings of St. Kitts and Nevis, where the future of travel was laid out. It's all next on this station.
People, the 4th and 5th of April, it's all about Arise. Tobago, we coming. Oh, let's see the video of jumping out of planes for this one. Parachuting down to the Scarborough Amphitheater. Yes, this is the place to be. Along with other friends and them, and even the ones from Tobago too. Big up all yourself. We're going to have a great time in Jesus' name. Arise!
Arise! Blissful melodies come from heaven, so his praise are given to the King, not given it.
Hop, hop, hip hooray, Easter money's on its way. Some bunnies getting a great rate today. Looking for a rate that's bright and sunny? Hop on down for some Easter money. 1% interest through and through, because we see you at BCU. Apply for a 1% Easter loan and let's hatch something great together. Hop, hop, hip hooray, Easter money's on its way.
We get ready as the Conby Mount Pleasant Community Council brings to you their Easter Sport and Family Day. On Monday, 6th April, Easter Monday, we transform the Mount Pleasant recreational grounds. We kick off with track and field events, novelty races, Easter bonnet competition, the Greasy Pole Challenge, and the highly anticipated William Woods Premier Goat Racing Classic. Huge prizes to be won, and we can't forget the Kids Corner with rides and bouncy castles. At 7 p.m., it's an after party and a stage show by popular artists and DJs. Grounds tickets cost $60 for adults and $30 for kids 5 to 12 years. Pavilion tickets cost $100 and children under 5 years are free. So register early for races. Check out Conby Mount Pleasant Community Council on Facebook. 474-4661. 474-4661 for more details. Live performance by the 2026 National Calypso Monarch Queen, Terry Lyons.
I need a blessing. Tobago need a blessing. Tobago need a blessing.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
I think part of the problem we have, and this is not unique to cardiology, but this concept of checkup is going for review. So for example, women are probably better at, they have the mammogram, they have the pap smear, an older patient may have a schedule with a healthcare clinic. So a lot of people in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s don't think of our healthcare as being part of a proactive thing. So they're waiting for something to happen, then go to the doctor.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Tobago. It's Carnival. The vibe. The event space, formerly known as Shade, for the court Tobago, says, let's celebrate Carnival. Bring your coolers every Friday and Saturday, starting from Friday the 30th of January till Carnival week, and pay $50 at the door with your cooler all night. No ice, no chaser allowed. Top DJ and artists passing through every Friday and Saturday. To pre-book your cabanas, call 369-6414 and 394-3612 or email iwamg@gmail.com. And this promotion is going on until Easter. Gates open at 9 p.m. It's rum, it's bacchanal. Bring your coolers and come.
Been down this road before. All that left is rum and bacchanal. This is carnival.
What's up, it's your brother Nathaniel here. Listen, this Easter weekend 2026. Arise, the concert, Scarborough Amphitheater will never be the same. I'm looking forward to fellowshipping with you guys in praise and worship. And I know a couple of my brothers will be there as well. Big up, Blessed, Bijon, Fire Night. Arise, we going down in the war room. We going down in the war room.
Arise! Yeah.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we're stronger.
Thank you, viewers, for staying with us. If you are now joining us, you are viewing GMT Good Morning Tobago, and it's always a pleasure to spend my Friday morning with you. And we continue with interesting conversations. We know that Monday, Trinidad and Tobago observes Spiritual Baptist Liberation Day, and we have two individuals who are, I don't want to say experts, but they're from the Spiritual Baptist Liberation community, the Spiritual Baptist community and they are the ones who will help guide us and help us understand the importance of this day. So we have Mr. Jesse Taylor, who is also the cultural officer too in one of the divisions in the Tobago House of Assembly, and we have Bishop Dillon, Muriel Dillon, who is with us as well. Before we get into what the faith is doing in Tobago, I want to talk to you, Mr. Taylor, in terms of your job title, where you sit, and how that department has been making this an event for all of Tobago to celebrate.
Yes, certainly. Good morning to all, and happy Shout Out Baptist Liberation in advance. So the division continues to align itself with specific goals and objectives, which is a part of the mandate of the Tobago House of Assembly. And one of those are the observance of national days and festivals. Of course, the Spiritual Baptist is an interesting one, because it says a story that is very similar and very mirrored by those things that happened through the Middle Passage, the transatlantic slave, and the movement of those freed slaves that came into the Caribbean and brought to them a rich religion, playing the drums, singing of the chants, observing things that could be mirrored in our festival like the Salaka Feast, that has elements of the ancestral Thanksgiving. So the division, we got an approval to do the Baptist Liberation, the observance, and we thought that it was best to look at some of the ways, including the languages. So last Thursday, the Thursday before this one, we'd have had Miss Sheena Richardson came from Trinidad and did a beautiful session with the drummers and the singers and chanters. But the oration movement, we recognize a large part of the growing and increasingly positive growth of the Spiritual Baptist and its sustainability. So we had a workshop at the Shore Park Campus, well attended, informative learning about the Yoruba language and that kind of stuff. And then we also had the dance part of it last Tuesday. And then at this Wednesday, we were fortunate enough to mount a beautiful exhibition that have all the artifacts, the implements, the way we worship, and actually had a tribute service attended by Secretary Zorisha Hackett and Mr. Percy as the Assistant Secretary in the Division. So we continue to blaze the trail for preservation, archiving, and data collection through these efforts.
Right, and you mentioned, an exhibition. Is this still ongoing? Because I think it's the last year it was at the airport.
It was at the airport,
right?
The previous time, but we brought it closer to town and in the space, because we realized it is easier for consumption, accessibility, and this Scarborough Library have been very gracious to grant us a great space, and the layout is really, really awesome. It's open during the normal hours of the library opening, which is 8 to 4. We encourage all to come in to see what would have been growing in attention and have become very frequently visited as a site as part of this show that we have on the media.
And when is the last day of the exhibition?
On the 2nd of April.
Okay, so that allows for those who are now hearing about it can get a chance to visit
next
week.
If you haven't, it's very available, and we encourage all to learn about our ancestry of food, the bells, the conch shell, the blue soap, the proverbial blue soap, and the blue, and the onion and the garlic, and the things that we use to ensure that we keep the body pure.
And of course, for viewers who are listening, we do have a cruise ship docked at Scarborough, and sometimes you see tourists walking about looking for something to do. You know about the exhibition, direct them to the library, and I'm sure they will appreciate what they will be exposed to.
And ensure the staff does that as well.
Yes, that will be excellent. Of course, let's switch gears and talk to Bishop Muriel Dillon. You are an executive member of the United Spiritual Baptist Assembly, and I know the Assembly is charged with what Tobago will experience in terms of the observation of the day. So tell us a little what we can expect on Monday or leading up into Monday.
Thank you for having us. Good morning to all viewers of this broadcast. Today is Friday. Tomorrow, Saturday, we'll be having a unity service in the library, auditorium also.
Yes.
And that service will include all the ministers of different religious denominations will be there to share that service with us and bring their greetings for liberation on that day.
Right.
Then on Monday, we will have the celebration at Signal Hill on the lands that were given to us. But we start off with a religious procession or a march from the bus shed at the Orange Hill Junction, leading up to the last Signal Hill, where on arrival there, we should be in time for the beginning of the program at 10 o'clock, that day's thing. We will be having singing, rejoicing, and in the afternoon session, we'll have different members of the faith in Tobago to bring greetings, to preach, and to have a wonderful day.
And that procession, of course, we would invite persons to come out and to observe, but can members of the public be a part of the procession itself, or is it just for members of the faith?
Members of the faith, but members of the public do join us, and we accommodate everybody who
and that's the beautiful part about where we live. Yes, it's all inclusive. I want to talk about the significance of the name of this day of observance. We know it's Spiritual Shouter Baptist Liberation Day. Sometimes we may hear Spiritual Baptist Liberation Day. The shouter is left out. And if I can ask Mr. Taylor, is there significance in leaving or taking out the word shouter from that?
Well, initially, according to history and the conversation we had with those faith-based experienced elders, they were known because, one, they shouted when they were in the spirit, and in manifestation.
Right.
So that you're kind of out of your body, and in this other experience, you have different kind of energy. So you would proclaim, prophesy, and so it's a little more pronounced. Then additionally, before they were the repeal and whatever, one of the things that they thought that the colonial people thought is that we were noisy.
Right.
So shouter kind of took on a negative connotation. But the truth be told is that, even as I learned today from Bishop Dillon, you know, when you really preach or talk about the word in essence, all people who prophesy or speak or has an authority use different tones to get the message across.
Yes.
So it's considered shout. The spiritual is the aspect that allows you to be in this room and transport yourself to India, Africa, and have different experience, China, and like when you go on the morning ground, for instance, and visit other places that's very that actually exists, but you haven't actually left the island with an outer body experience. So that, yes, Spiritual Baptist, Shouter Baptist, is the same group here, and I'm one of those who believe that the name is appropriate, because that's what we do. Walk in the street, proclaim in the street, ring the bell and say, prepare ye the way of the Lord and make the path straight. That's what you do. And you actually are shouting.
Excellent. And of course, Bishop Dillon, I want us to look at the word liberation. How important is that word to your celebration each year?
Well, it is very, very, very important to us, because it reminds us that in the past, our foreparents, the practitioners in the early days, they experienced so much pain and suffering because of our religion. And the ban took place. And as a result of the ban, some of the practitioners were beaten, taken to the courts and jailed for a period of time. Even you in your own house, if some Baptists come in your house, the owner of the house is also arrested because he encouraged the practice of the shout of faith in his house. So he was also arrested. And so it is very, very important to us that we got this bill or this ban lifted, and now we have a public holiday where we show solidarity for what happened to our forefathers in the past. So it's very, very important. Another important thing for me is that when God called the children of Israel out of Egypt. So this shall be for you a beginning of days. So when we came out from that band, I saw it also as the beginning of days. It was a new chapter for spiritual Baptists on our island, in our country. So I see it as a new beginning. I observe New Year's Day. Spiritual Shouter Baptist Day is New Year's Day for the spiritual Shouter Baptist.
And Bishop, how do you encourage your faith to stand strong in your youths? Because we know that all groups of faith, you always hear sometimes, we need to have young people engaged because you're looking at the future of the faith, etc. Do you find that you have a challenge with getting young people to participate in faith, and how do you keep your youth engaged?
Well, as everything else, we have challenges.
Right.
And as one will always say, there's a great quote that said, peace comes not from the absence of conflict, but from the ability to cope with it. Just the same thing with our young people. There is conflict sometimes, but we have to cope with it. But we make avenues for them to be included.
Right.
We include them in worship. We allow them to be a part of everything that we as elders are doing in the church. Sometimes we encourage them also by having lectures and so on, to motivate them, to give them this sense of belonging and understanding who they are and how they must carry themselves and so on. So we have these different lectures that we do also.
Right.
And we try to encourage them to be in different groups. Like, let's say, for instance, the youth clubs. We don't have a youth club per se in the faith.
Right.
But we try to keep them occupied at all times. When we have sessions in the church, for example, like we have a morning session taking place, the children will come and they will have us teachers teaching them different parts of the faith, while the elders are in the morning session. Their teacher will be there responsible for them to guide them along in different aspects of life.
And let me bring Jesse in this part of the conversation. Anytime I think of spiritual Baptists, it's the beautiful colors, the head wraps, the ringing of the bell, the adoption, so many powerful elements. And if you can briefly maybe select 2 or 3 of these symbols your faith is recognized by, and tell us the significance of it.
So I will start with the bell, because the bell is from time immemorial, so it represents a pathway to hearing and subsequent believing and baptism, renewal, covenant. It also symbolizes worship and call to order to worship. And I mean, you can even parallel it with the school. In school, you have that little bell. When you hear the bell, every time they come in, if it's recess, if it's at the end of the day. So that's one. We use the flags a lot. One of the different color flags, like there's brown that symbolizes the earth, and the Bible speaks about the earth being the laws and the fullness thereof. Yellow representing the glory of God, and the sun, and blue for peace, and red for power and strength, and black for vitality, and that's colors and flags in a whole. I will choose one. You could also choose the shell, because the shell also is a distant voice that again connects us with the middle passage and the journey, and the fact that we were product of a cruel displacement of slavery, coming through the middle passage and a channel of despair, but landing us through trials and tribulation, but yet we've survived. As the song says, 40 long years you're working on the field. And we never get weary yet. We intend to do. We're now celebrating 75 years. And we're hoping that people will continue to ensure that there's prosperity of the faith and the preservation of something so noble and spiritually valuable.
And Bishop, do you think that the faith still is under negative scrutiny, or in Tobago, is it now more acceptable?
Well, to some people, there's still a little negative connotations around. But we have been accepted by most of the religious denominations.
Right.
the Muslims, the Hindus, we are all together up to Eid.
Eid, right? Yeah.
I was there at the Eid session. We were invited to the Eid function.
Mm-hmm.
We invite all those different religious denominations also with us. They come and celebrate liberation with us. We with the Baha'i, we try to keep a togetherness, because the intention for all of us is the same. The aim is the same, to have a country and a people who know that there is a creator and that they must focus on pleasing the creator or living that life for the creator. So we have a good relationship with most of the religious denominations on the island. Right? That's the reason why we're having the unity service on Saturday.
Right, yes.
We invite them to come on Saturday because Liberation Day, when we had it on Liberation Day, it carries us a long drawn out process, and then people start to get timid.
And you want those who you invited to really be able to celebrate.
Yes, and celebrate.
And remind us where that unity service is tomorrow again.
Is at the
auditorium.
Right.
And it's a fellowship. The Bible speaks about how important it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. And it's also connected with generation and how it flows from here to there, and how precious it is, so that the attempts have been made over time to ensure that there is fellowship, unity, reach, and that we are able to go together using the watchwords. Together we aspire, and together we certainly can achieve. We have been doing that. And we only think it's only up from here. The team, by the way, this is reigniting the flames of our legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And we believe in legend, legacy, and living.
Right.
And that's very important to all these things, the facet in our lives, and how we use it to amplify those things that could be truly, truly spectacular and make Tobago what it is, and the faith a better place as we grow.
And if I can invite both of you to leave our viewers with one core message of liberation that they can take with them, whether it's for the rest of the year, in the next couple of days, what would you share with our viewers? Bishop?
Well, we are liberated. It means that we can practice our religion freely at this time. I would like us to be also liberated financially, that we can come together and develop this our financial status to a place where we can be liberated,
right,
and take care of different things in society. Mm-hmm. Right? So I trust and hope that they will not only the Baptist community, but the population of Trinidad and Tobago will understand the importance of what we are doing and assist us so that we can have that our finances as part of our liberation.
Mm-hmm.
And we must be liberated financially. Mm-hmm. Our spiritual development must also be very important to us. So there should be spiritual wellness. Right? And I soon we're hoping to have some talk about spiritual wellness to come up on the island.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Right?
Yes.
So that's my view to us today, and I pray God that we all enjoy our Liberation Day. Happy New Year on Monday the 30th.
Yes.
Happy Spiritual Baptist Day. Spiritual Shouter Baptist Day.
Thank you so much, Bishop.
So I would just like to say to everyone who's listening, my takeaway and encouragement is that you do all the best you can, all the times you can, in all the places that you can, for as long as you can. And then you can make the world a better place as long as you try.
So true. Excellent advice coming from both of you, and encouragement. And of course, viewers, I always encourage us to learn and be exposed. Colonialism really did one on us, and it has encouraged us to have these false ideas about who we are as a people. But I think that we have come a long way, and yes, we still have way to go, but we have the information. We have people around us, and I'm sure if you see Mr. Taylor or Bishop Dillon or any senior member of the faith, they'd be willing to share more information with you. The significance of water and the plant, the significance of the head wraps, the certain colors at certain times. Ask questions, be in a small space, and I think everyone is accessible. And it's time for us to understand who we are as a people, the journey we have taken, and the journey yet to come. And with that, we end this morning's GMT. Good morning, Tobago. Thank you for staying with us this morning. And it is the start of the weekend, a lot of activities as we prepare for the long weekend. And while people, it's just a holiday for you. It's a very significant day for the Shoutout Baptist faith, and we, of course, will celebrate with them. We applaud them for where they have journeyed from and the standard that they take today, and we wish you all the best as you continue to forge ahead. And, viewers, you have the procession, come out, view it. If you can make your way up to Signal Hill. Yes, Bishop, you were saying? Right, sharp, emphasis on sharp, right? Because there's a planned program, and everything, of course, is once they want to keep it in order. So come out, see the beautiful dresses the women wear, the men, the head wraps, explore who we are as a people, explore the culture. And the lovely thing about Trinbago is that many of our religious celebrations have become, part of who we are as a people, part of our culture. So we all are in the temple, we all are in the church, we all are in the mosque, and we'll all come out and celebrate with our Shoutout Baptist brothers and sisters. So until next time, I know next week, Friday, we have a holiday, so you may not see us on air next week, Friday, but stay safe until we meet again. Thank you.